I have a question about when. So the election is set for the spring, but there's a lot of speculation it'll happen in the fall, right?
Well, there's some speculation. It's supposed to happen in the spring, and if they go in the fall, I'd be happy because I think every day they're not in power is a good day for Alberta. But
yeah.
I've never seen it. Look, they're not dumb. They got like a 20, 30 point behind. We have a 20, 30 point lead. Why would they call an election in the fall?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah, doesn't make much sense to me. But honestly, if they did, we'll be ready.
Yeah. Okay, well, I got a bit of an intro here, and then we got a couple questions. Then we're gonna play Tom Petty. Couple questions. We're gonna judge the questions from text, like during the songs.
Okay.
And we can throw them at you to see if you're comfortable with them, just to make sure, right? Because in the world that we live in, with everyone hating politics, and just check your Twitter feed.
Oh, it's
right. It's constant, right? It's nonstop.
It is pretty insane.
Yeah.
We're already getting people going, wow, you got him on the show.
No one believes. I don't think anybody in this building actually believed you were going to show up.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. Because I knew you were.
The hell?
Yeah.
The only reason I wouldn't is I'm not really a morning person, but
you know what I said? I said to it was Rick. What's Rick's last name?
Knight.
Rick Knight. Rick started sending me notes, and I said to Rick, I said, "This is the audience that's given up on politics. This is the audience you want to get in front of."
Yeah.
Right? Because the audience on Chad and all of the talk news, they're already there. They're engaged. This is the audience that's kind of done one of these, the politics, right?
And pretty much everybody calls into Jasper Sinners. They already know how to vote.
Yeah.
They're not, you know.
All right, here we go. All right, exciting day. We have a very important guest on the locker room today. Mr. Kenney resides in Calgary, Alberta. Secretly cheers for the Edmonton Eskimos. We're not going to tell anybody, we promise. He was born in Ontario.
Actually, I'm a Riders fan. Got to come out and admit right there.
Okay. Yes, thank you.
Oh, I knew you would do that. You're going to get him all worked up. Raised in Saskatchewan, he's been involved in politics most of his life. Currently, the Honourable Jason Kenney is the leader of the United Conservative Party here in Alberta. And many believe, myself included, that he will be the next premier of Alberta. Now, before we get into sort of a political sort of slant on this conversation, which we will, trust me on this, I want to ask you a question to sort of get an idea of who you are.
For sure.
Can't get another one of these days until the election actually is called and it happens. But let's say, magically, Jason has a day to himself. No commitments, no work, no family crap, nothing. It is your day. You get to disappear. Your phone, nothing.
You just every now and then it's nice to hang out with friends and family and just be quiet.
Because when people talk about you, or when I see something with you in the news, it's very rarely about your family or things in your private life, and sometimes that's on purpose, right?
I suppose so. And by the way, that's the same for our premier. I give her great credit for that. She doesn't politicize her family. She doesn't post pictures with her family or kids or anything. She does her job, and I think that's what people want. I don't like this whole personality leader, cult of leadership thing that we've seen too much in politics. So, yeah, I work hard. I give her, and don't think there's a need to, bring people into my condo.
All right. Okay. Now I have a sort of a political question that I want to get into right away here, and I think people are going to be waiting for that because we are a music flow station, right? This isn't a talk, right? And we're an irreverent show. You can probably tell just based on the appearance of the guys you're in the room with right now. But we do every once in a while jump into politics, and we'll get into that in just a bit. If you have any questions you want us to ask, Grant is monitoring our text line, so send them. If you're being rude, we're not getting that on. But text us any legitimate questions, 957-957. Tell us why you picked, because we got you to pick some tunes for the show today. Tell us why you picked the Tom Petty tune.
This was actually one of my campaign theme songs. Don't back down. That's my attitude. I have one gear, which is forward. I don't stop or go in reverse. So don't back down. And that's the Alberta spirit too, right? This is the province where people come here to work hard and they give her. And so we don't want to back down. And I'm not going to back down heading into the next election either.
There we go. Tom Petty.
So you guys are on from 7 to 10 or what?
Oh, we do
No.
5:30 to 10.
Holy.
Locker.
Pay you good for that.
We have
Wow.
we have
Put in a
90
good word
people
for us?
watching right now.
90.
We have 90 people watching right
Oh,
now.
that's cool. Nice.
Hey, folks.
You know what? We can't
Probably
complain.
half of them are in the NDP research office. How's it going over there? Have a nice day.
We can't complain about this job because it's the saddest excuse for a career in the world. But I gotta admit, no human being should be up when we're up. It is just not healthy.
No.
Like we get up in the 3 o'clock hour, and we're here by 5.
And you're
right?
probably so set in that the weekend you can't even really sleep in. Eh?
Well, I'm old. These guys
I-
party on the weekend, so they're always making fun of me because I'm like I don't make it out past midnight on Friday night.
That's 9 o'clock.
Yeah. So I do a lot of complaining about.
How long have you been doing that?
Well, I've been in radio since. Okay. Listen. I don't know the guy that invented fire. No, I've been doing this a long, long time, but not morning radio because you work your way up to morning radio.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, especially on the music side of things. Like on talk, generally, it's not always that's not morning isn't always the marquee thing, right?
So
Sometimes
you're
in
on
midday.
air at 5:30? Were you just
Yeah,
getting
that's
ready?
when we start at 5:30.
Holy
yeah.
smokes.
So I go to crack the mic at 5:30.
Yeah. And you're not a morning person, eh?
No, but I gotta force myself to be sometimes.
Yeah.
No, I'm like a night hawk. My best hours work-wise are like midnight to 2 a.m.
Yeah. All right.
We got some good questions here.
We do?
Yeah.
You want to start with one?
Yeah.
Okay, Grant's going to start with a question from text, okay? I can call you Jason?
Please.
Okay.
Or hey you, or whatever.
Yeah. What are you doing after this?
Headed out to Atchison, Alberta for some, like a, community roundup barbecue lunch kind of thing.
Okay, cool. No shortage of that kind of thing, eh, right?
No, and especially in the summer.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. Mind you, the Stampede can be a bit of a grind. It's 8 or 9 events a day.
You generally see, like, you'll see pictures of somebody like Obama being one of the more famous ones, like pictures of him when he first started out, and then pictures of when he ended, and how many the years, the aging. We have Jason Kenney with us right now, and we said that we would take some text questions.
Yeah.
957-957, and Grant has one for you. Mr. Kenney?
Probably our most asked question so far on text is your plan if you win the election with the carbon tax.
Scrap it.
Scrap it, and then the follow-up question was, how do you combat the federal carbon tax, which would?
Sue Trudeau.
Yeah. Which is what Saskatchewan's doing, right?
100%. So I've said within a month of us winning an election, we're going to call in a special session of the Ledge, and we're going to pass Bill number 1, the Carbon Tax Repeal Act. And then if Justin Trudeau tries to jam his carbon tax on us, then I join the Saskatchewan government, go to court, challenge it as being an unconstitutional violation of our provincial power. And now we got the premier of the biggest province, Doug Ford, who's going to be also in court with us.
Right.
So, and I'm talking to some other provincial leaders, and I think we're going to have a big national coalition standing up for taxpayers against this meddling by politicians who want to take more money out of our pockets and have more power over our lives.
You've spent most of your political life on the conservative side.
Well, I started out as a bit of a lefty, though.
Yeah, I
So I can see
that.
both sides, actually.
Okay. My question is, and this is more of me speculating and my opinion on this. And this isn't, I agree one way or the other, but I have a feeling that based on the separation politically, not just in Canada, but in North America, and that most people, with the growing disdain for politics, most people kind of shoot the middle, right? I have a feeling that the party that demonstrates the most favoritism towards the middle, if you're on the right or if you're on the left, if you work your way into the middle, is going to probably win in a lot of cases politically moving forward. Now, let me ask you a question. If that's my opinion.
Yeah.
If that is the case, how concerned are you about the perception and the lean to the right of the UCP?
Well, I don't think most people get up in the morning and imagine themselves in some left-right spectrum. I think that's totally abstract. I think that what the people are looking for is common sense. And I'm not sure there's a center anymore, by the way. I mean, the Liberal Party and the NDP, they both support carbon taxes, as does the Alberta Party. They all support big deficits. The point is, people are looking for common sense solutions. So you've got 70% of Albertans who say they're against the carbon tax. Is that right? Is it the center? I don't know. I just think it's common sense that you can't help the environment by punishing people to fill up their gas tank and to heat their homes and buy their groceries. So the way I look at it is, who's on the side of average people as they're struggling to get ahead? And yeah, maybe political junkies are going to try to put those positions on some spectrum, but I don't obsess over that. I'll tell you, I believe I'm in the majority. Look, I'm leading a party that's always over 50% in the polls. Is that the center? It probably is.
Okay. On the topic of weed, and there was a big...
Nice segue. Really elegant.
Where did that come from?
Go from carbon tax to weed.
Common sense to weed. Can we go there? Okay. This is my thought process with the pot. The pot. Now that it's legal, I'm going to become a full-blown pothead. How about you? Are you going to join me?
I'll check in and see how you're doing in a few years.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
As a stoner.
Okay.
I'm not, but I will not inhale.
Are you excited about the potential revenue that will stem from pot, or are you okay with the legalization of it?
Well, it is legal, so, and you know what, I don't stress about whatever people smoke or do in their own lives, but on the revenue, this is bizarre. I mean, the NDP is planning to lose money selling pot here in Alberta for the next couple of years. I mean, a 14-year-old stoner living in his mom's basement can turn a pretty good profit, but the NDP government with a monopoly loses money selling pot. It just, all you need to know about the NDP's business sense is they can't even make money turning around pot.
What's their plan there, that they're going to lose money?
Yeah.
Like just the way they...
That's what they brought out in their budget.
The business said, oh, okay.
Yeah, they're not going to be the retailer, and thank God for that, because down in Ontario, Kathleen Wynne, who just lost that election, was going to actually have, basically pot set up like government liquor stores. They still have those in other provinces.
A horrible idea.
Which is, not fun.
And so, but on the serious point, my only point is this. Pot is not good for teenagers, for kids. If there's a lot of science behind brain development on this. And a whole idea of legalization was that you could push the black market out and have a more regulated product and keep it out of the hands of kids. That's notionally the idea behind this. I'm concerned, though, that governments are going to get so greedy for the tax you're talking about. They'll jack up the price. They'll make it so hard to buy that it won't change the black market. In fact, the black market will adjust by taking its price down. And that's my main concern. You could have more 12-year-olds smoking pot and they're making choices that they'll maybe later regret in life.
I'm concerned that the black market isn't going to go away either, right?
That's all about the price. It's mainly about the price point. Yeah. And politicians, I guarantee you, they're going to get greedy. They're going to push the tax up. Look what they've done to booze.
Are you sure?
Look what they've done to cigarettes and everything else. And why do we don't have it so much in Alberta, but down east, Ontario and Quebec, I think it's something like a third of the cigarettes smoked are illegal. Contraband tobacco, bought off of reserves typically, brought in from the U.S., sold off reserves. And, so when the governments get greedy, then the black market fills the gap.
Okay, we're going to grab another question from text here after a tune, Grant. So
okay.
Have something ready to go.
Okay.
Text us if you have any questions for Jason, 957 957. Why did you want us to play this Big Shitter tune?
This is All Hell for a Basement, which is a line written by Rudyard Kipling, a great poet, about Alberta. And it's all about the Alberta spirit, about people coming out here to work, people who've lost their jobs down east, and they look at Alberta as the best place in the world because they can get to work out here.
And we love Gory too. So here you go. Good pick, by the way. Thank you for this one.
Cheers. It is. And I got your CanCon here too.
Oh, yes,
Yeah, we're
thank
covered.
you.
You guys got a Roto, what, 25% CanCon? Or
No, but you could actually put in a good word and maybe get it down to that for us.
what is it?
It's 40.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Talk to the federal government about that. Here's my opinion on CanCon.
So-
I'll make this quick.
Yeah.
When it was first brought out, it was put in to actually help out the Canadian music industry.
Right.
Okay. Long term, it's doing damage now because now the rest of the world thinks that the only reason we play Big Sugar
Or Rush.
yeah, or Rush. Yeah, Rush came up on your Twitter feed. Anyway, the only reason why we play this is because we have to. So what it does is it devalues, from the eyes outside looking in on Canada, it devalues the strength of our Canadian music industry.
Fair point.
And I think it's an unintended consequence of CanCon regulations. And with satellite radio, they're not really bound by any well, they are to a certain extent, but not to the point that terrestrial radio is. I think it's a bit of a dinosaur, and I think it should be killed.
You know, I was in a restaurant in Toronto a couple weeks ago when I was with some friends, and Geddy Lee came in, sat down right next to me.
Oh, yeah,
It was so
awesome.
cool. I listened to his music all through the 80s, 70s, and 80s, and there he is.
You know about our Rush Free show, eh? Like, we don't play Rush on the show. So, and people get really wound up about it.
Yeah, so that was our first question they had was, how do you feel about Locker Room? But
Yeah.
Jimmy and I both like Rush. It's just him that doesn't like it.
Oh!
And
Yeah, so
we
get-
tried to play Rush when he wasn't here, and he recorded over the song.
Okay, we're coming back with a question from the text line.
Yeah.
Okay. You got a couple?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Had 2 comments on Facebook already going, James, steady the video, you're making me nauseous.
Jimmy is the
Hold
You
it.
should have just set up a tripod.
Holding the phone for 30 minutes
Yeah,
is
you
not as
should have
easy
just
as
set
it
up a tripod, Jimmy.
We don't have one that can hold
So,
a
I got
phone.
there's the $1 million question. How do you guys feel about Nickelback?
I think that the Nickelback hate is they just piled on over the years. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It got out of control.
It's become a thing of its own. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're Alberta boys. You gotta like that.
You know what? And they're not like any other band in that they had a formula.
Yeah.
I mean, AC/DC recorded one song and then released 23 albums.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it happens with everybody, right?
You never play country. You're always in the rock zone.
We will occasionally jump
we
into like
you
a
know who
Johnny
we play?
Cash, but
We play Coulter Wall quite a bit.
Oh, he is awesome.
Yeah.
That guy's. I know his dad, eh?
Yeah.
And Coulter, I always said to his dad, like, did you raise him smoking cigarettes and drinking bourbon? He sounds like
That
late,
voice
he sounds like
is
late
like-
Johnny. I mean,
He's like 23.
no, he sounds like he's lived through like a bunch of sad country music songs.
he
Yeah.
looks like it too. Have you seen him live?
Oh, yeah.
He carries himself like an old soul too. He's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all went to a show when he was in town here, and I'm glad we got to see him because I don't think he's ever coming back and doing the Starlight Room.
It's gonna be Rogers when he comes
But he's
back.
going to be huge.
Rick
Yeah.
Rubin wants to record with him, eh? And
So-
I think that's what's happening right now.
So his dad Brad told me that he's now. I said, "What are you doing now, Brad?" He said, "I'm Coulter's roadie."
Yeah, basically.
But he grew
Well,
the beard out too, right?
I wonder
Yeah.
if Brad got out of politics because of his son's success and it kind of interfering with
Partly,
it.
but 10
Partly?
years is as premier's enough.
Yeah.
He did a great job. He's just
Jason Kenney joining us this morning. We got one more tune that he picked that we'll get to in just a bit. We're taking questions by way of text, 957 957. Grant, we'll get you to start here.
There's a ton of questions, and I'm glad that we did this because there's questions I wouldn't have thought to ask. And one popular question so far has been your plan for daycare. They said that the NDP's implemented a $25 daycare as a pilot program. And they
Yeah,
were just
they've
wondering-
done that for like, I don't know, 1,000 spots or something in a province with hundreds of thousands of kids.
Yeah.
Look, here's my thing on daycare is, first of all, over a big answer for every challenge is get our economy moving again, so people have money that we use to take care of their families. On daycare, we're going to come out with our platform next winter or spring, and we're going to talk about how to help make daycare for kids more affordable. But I want to respect everybody's choices. You know, there's some folks who choose to put their kids in a regular sort of 9 to 5 daycare, others who have extended family, do this informally, others who give up an income for a while to stay at home with the kids. And I think we should respect all of those choices, not just subsidize one of those choices.
Right.
So I think it's all about respecting everybody's choices in the way they care for their kids.
Kinder Morgan, on the heels of you mentioning the economy and getting it restarted, because we've sort of poked our head above the issues that we were having a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
We seem to be stuck at a point here. Why can't we build this damn pipeline? I mean, I know that seems like a stupid question to ask, but politically, can't Justin just step in and go, no, it's getting done? Like, we're baffled. A lot of people are baffled by why this thing is just, why we don't have shovels in the ground right now.
Well, I'm baffled too, and the reason is, look, it didn't just start with Justin Trudeau and the NDP in BC. This started like a long time ago. The Rockefeller Brothers Foundation, big multi-billion-dollar charity out of New York, brought together a couple of dozen hardcore environmental groups in 2008 in New York City, and they developed something called the Tar Sands Campaign. The goal was to landlock Canadian oil. Why? Because they figured they couldn't get Saudi Arabia, Russia, Venezuela, Iran, Qatar, or any of these other places to produce one less barrel. But they saw Canada as the soft target, the Boy Scouts, the pushover. You know how I always define a Canadian as someone who apologizes when you step on his foot, right?
Yeah.
And that's what they saw in us. And so they've had this 10-year-long campaign of defamation, vilification of our energy industry. Got this guy, David Suzuki, just got an honorary degree at U of A. He calls it the oil sands the moral equivalent of slavery. This is crazy. We produce oil at the highest environmental, labor, and human rights standards on Earth. The world needs more, not less Canadian oil. Nobody's going to burn one less barrel of oil or gallon of oil as a result of Canada getting landlocked. But these groups have created this political movement funded by foreign money. There's a group called the Tides Foundation that's brought in $80 million from the U.S. just to hire people, full-time activists, these people who are blocking the pipeline, and they help to elect the NDP in BC. They help to elect Justin Trudeau. So Justin Trudeau canceling the Northern Gateway pipeline, killing the Energy East one, and then surrendering to Obama when he vetoed the Keystone XL that goes to the States, and then doing nothing to pressure the BC government on Trans Mountain, the Kinder Morgan. This is why this is absurd. Like, and by the way, if Trudeau was serious about getting that pipeline built, why is he giving BC billions of dollars? Like, use the power of the purse. That's the strongest leverage the feds have, and that's why we were saying don't send BC $4 billion for infrastructure unless and until they get that pipeline built. And by the way, majority of British Columbians support this. Not a fight between Albertans and British Columbians, but between the Canada's economic interests and a ideological government of Victoria.
Does Trump?
Sorry, I get cranked up about this.
No, thank you for getting cranked up about it. Does Trump think we're a pushover, Canada as a whole?
Oh, I suspect he does. And isn't it weird that, he taxed Canada, then he flies to North Korea and to Singapore, praises the North Korea dictator. Absolutely. I think he sees us as a pushover as well, and that's why he's bullying us on trade.
Mm-hmm. Do you like not like?
Yeah, I don't know, but to tell you the truth, I've shaken her hand. I met her at a party at U of A, and she doesn't remember this, I don't think. Oh, gosh, it would have been like 32 years ago, or something like that. And I've shaken her hand once since then.
Really?
Not even once since becoming opposition leader. It is really weird. When I was down in Ottawa and in the House of Commons, we had great relationships across party lines. You might, go at someone in the House on
And then
an
go out for beer
argument,
with them, yeah.
and then go out for a beer after that. But that does not happen over here. There's just no cross-party anything. And I think she's smart and capable and committed. I happen to disagree with her in a whole lot of things, but I think we can do that without being disagreeable. I've been building this new party for 2 years, never once attacked her personally, never once. I'm proud of that. In fact, at my convention, led a standing ovation for her in her public service. I don't think I've ever seen that before in politics, because I think people want to see a little bit more of that kind of respect. Let's go at it on the issues where we disagree, but not on the personal level.
I'm concerned about where we are at politically because of the chaos revolving around politics. Does it bother you? Like, there seems to be a growing divisiveness. There seems to be a growing hatred for politicians as a whole.
Well, that's probably always been there, but I get your point.
But is it growing? Is it getting worse, or is I'm just getting older and more crotchety?
Well, maybe you're spending too much time on Twitter.
Yeah.
Or you are spending too much time on Twitter.
No, seriously. It's just a cesspit, right? And here's the thing. All these...
Have you been talking to my wife?
all these angry people, who have nothing better to do with their time, can now... who's, normally in the past, they'd be just filled with venom and they'd be anonymous. They didn't have a voice. Now they can all self-publish and just push out hate on anybody. And it happens on all sides, by the way. I get tons of this stuff, but so does the Premier. And yeah, I think what happens on the social media is that people are living in their own echo chambers, right? They follow accounts they agree with, and then they demonize people they don't agree with. And that's BS. At the end of the day, we're all Albertans. We're all Canadians. I say this all the time. The Democrats are not bad people. I just think they have some bad ideas. I wish they would reciprocate, but our deputy premier, one of your Edmonton MLAs, referred to members of my party as, quotes, sewer rats. Like, give it a break. I mean, whoever wrote that copy should be fired. Like, this is silly.
There is a sense of that, though, that attack first, apologize later, and it seems to be a growing thing within politics. And again, I've talked about this. We've touched on this on the show more than a couple of times. That I think the left has to take as much ownership for where we're at politically as the right does, right? But all sides, as far as I'm concerned, everybody's in the same damn canoe.
Yeah, maybe, but I'm not sure of that. Like Doug Ford just won a big election down in Ontario, PC victory, and then you got lots of lefties and the CBC, but I repeat myself, coming out and saying that this is a sign of white of racism, and it's like somehow he has some kind of secret racist message. Every time the left loses an election in this country, there's a whole bunch of columns that come out saying it had something to do with racism or sexism. Well, Doug Ford won a huge lead of votes amongst immigrants to Ontario and folks who call themselves visible minorities. And he's especially popular amongst low-income immigrants in places like North Etobicoke, African refugees. I mean, this is disgusting that you would. Okay, we disagree on issues, but why do you need?
That's okay.
To ascribe the worst motives to voters when they choose a change in government.
You need that discord. You need. We talked about this yesterday when people started to actually believe you might show up. And come on the program, we talked about, well, would you have Rachel on? And I'm like, absolutely, I would totally have her on. I don't agree with half the stuff that comes out of her mouth, but I would. I would definitely entertain the idea of having her down, right? So, yeah, I agree with you. I think you do need to have that. And you and I probably don't agree on everything. But why would I say no to an interview with Jason Kenney? You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make any sense to me. You gotta look at things that might not necessarily...
Just keep an open mind.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that. We've run out of time. You gave us till 9:30. We're going to take some pictures.
Cheers.
And I really want to thank you for coming down.
Thanks a lot. It was fun.
Okay, and this tune you picked, is there a story behind this one?
Which is?
The Who won't get fooled again.
Oh, you won't get fooled again. I think we got fooled by the NDP in the last election. They said there was going to be no carbon tax, and they slammed it on us 5 months later. And Who's one of my favorite bands, so don't get fooled again, folks, in the next election.
Love the Who! Thank you for coming down, Mr. Kenney. It was awesome.
Cheers.